is Top Accolade Global News Update. I am Abdul Mohammed. Ukraine said on Monday its troops had liberated the southeastern settlement of Robotyne and were trying to push further south in their counter-offensive against Russian forces. The Ukrainian military said last week that its forces had raised the national flag in the strategic settlement but were still carrying out mopping-up operations. Ukrainian forces believe they have broken through the most difficult line of Russian defenses in the south and that they will now start advancing more quickly, a commander who led troops into Robotyne told Reuters last week. The settlement is 10 kilometers south of the frontline town of Orikhiv in the Zaporizhia region on an important road towards Tokmak, a Russian-occupied road and rail hub. Tokmak's capture would be a milestone as Ukrainian troops press southwards towards the Sea of Azov in a military drive that is intended to split Russian forces following Moscow's full-scale invasion in February 2022. Malia told Ukrainian television that Kiev's troops, who began their counter-offensive in early June, were now moving southeast of Robotyne and south of nearby Mala Tokmachka. Hundreds of people demonstrated overnight in Libya's capital and other provinces, angered by reports that the country's foreign minister met with Israel's top diplomat last week in Rome. Video circulated on social media showed protesters demonstrating in front of the foreign ministry building in Tripoli on Sunday night, calling for Najla al-Manghoush's dismissal. Some protesters also called for the resignation of Prime Minister Abdul Dbeibeh, gathering at his residence in Tripoli and setting fire to it. It was not immediately clear if Dbeibeh was at the residence. Pressmen gathered. There is widespread anger in Libya over al-Manghoush's meeting, with protests starting late on Sunday across the west of the country. Dbeibeh announced al-Manghoush's temporary suspension, replacing her with Fatala al-Zahani, the current youth minister, as interim foreign minister. He added that al-Manghoush would be subject to an administrative investigation. China said both legislative bodies, the Tripoli-based High Council of State and Tobruk-based House of Representatives (HOR), have condemned the meeting and called for an emergency session to discuss it, with the HOR describing the meeting as a crime committed against the Libyan people. Japan said on Monday that many harassing phone calls were received in the country, likely from China, regarding the release of treated radioactive water from the Fukushima nuclear plant into the Pacific, and called it, in quote, extremely regrettable. Japan started the water discharge on Thursday in a key step toward decommissioning the Fukushima plant, which suffered triple meltdowns after being hit by a tsunami in 2011. Following a powerful earthquake, China strongly opposes the discharge. In quote, a lot of harassment phone calls believed to be originating from China are occurring in Japan. These developments are extremely regrettable and we are concerned, Chief Cabinet Secretary Hirokazu Matsuno, the chief government spokesman, told a regular news conference. Such calls prompted Vice Foreign Minister Masataka Okano to summon the Chinese ambassador, Japan's foreign ministry said. In a statement, the ministry said the calls were also occurring at Japanese facilities in China and urged the government to take appropriate action promptly and ensure the safety of Japanese citizens. China's foreign ministry did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Chinese weather forecasters on Monday warned several provinces to expect torrential rain and flash floods over the next 2 days as unrelenting downpours wreak havoc on the country. More than 3,000 people were evacuated in northwestern Hunan province over the weekend as heavy rain was unleashed on Zhangzi, Ximen, and Yongshun counties and Zhangjiajie city, according to state media. Zhangzi recorded the heaviest rainfall this year, with maximum precipitation reaching 256 millimeters overnight from Saturday to Sunday, according to state broadcaster China Central Television. It was the most extensive and widespread rain in Zhangzi since 1998, CCTV said. China has been gripped by weeks of rains and floods amid an unusually wet summer. In late July, storms from Typhoon Doksuri caused record rains to hit China in over a decade, with Beijing experiencing its heaviest rainfall in 140 years. Terry Gao, the billionaire founder of major Apple supplier Foxconn, announced on Monday a bid to be Taiwan's next president in 2024 elections, saying he wanted to ensure the island did not become the next Ukraine. Gao is the fourth person to throw his hat in the ring for the January election, but his poll numbers before his announcement put him well behind the frontrunner, the ruling Democratic Progressive Party's DPP William Lai, who is currently vice president. Gao, 72, stepped down as Foxconn chief in 2019 and made his first presidential bid that year, but dropped out after he failed to win the nomination for Taiwan's main opposition party, the Kuomintang KMT. The KMT traditionally favors close ties with China, whose government claims Taiwan as its own territory. Earlier this year, Gao made a second bid to be the KMT's candidate for the presidential election, but the party chose instead Wu Yuhe, the mayor of New Taipei City. Gao has spent the past few weeks touring Taiwan and holding campaign-like rallies, fueling speculations he was planning to run as an independent candidate. That is the size of top accolade global news update. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy New Week!